Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon, FBA, and e-commerce business for sale in the office supply niche. Created in January 2016, this business makes $6,215 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this site is 41072. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. How are you doing, Evan?
Not bad, Jake. How's it going?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Where are you coming in from today?
Today, I'm in Victoria, Canada. That's where I'm based.
I'm a little unfamiliar with my Canadian geography. Is that middle, east, or west?
That is on the far, far west coast. So we're real close to like Seattle, for example.
Okay, I've been to Vancouver, so.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we're basically just like on a little island just off of Vancouver.
Oh, cool. Cool. I've been in Vancouver and then I've gone a little bit up the east coast, but nothing too much. But cool. Anyway, yeah. So before we get into talking, answering the questions and such, I just want to give a quick summary on the business. It was built, again, in January 2016. It has a monthly revenue of $20,419, expenses of $14,204 to make for a net profit of $6,215, and this is built on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the Amazon Seller Central accounts, and this includes North American and European accounts, domains, Shopify website, Google Analytics account, email-related software and accounts, social media accounts, and this includes Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, a well-organized library of business files, including contact list, inventory replenishment spreadsheet, SOPs, product sourcing info, learning resources and guides, product photography, professionally designed logo files, and email templates. Evan, can you give us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would consider this business my first real success in online business. So it was pretty new for me. Before I did the FBA thing, I had built one website, and it was like a language learning website, kind of like an authority site, and I had monetized it through affiliate and AdSense. Made a little bit of money from that, but basically I ended up crashing and destroying the site when I added some bad code to it and just kind of left it there. But that was like my first taste of online business and totally got hooked because people loved the site, started getting traffic, made a little bit of money. And when that ended, it only took me about 3 or 4 months to get the bug again and decide that I wanted to do something online. And that's when I started looking into FBA.
And so do you build the online business yourself, or did you have help?
I've used contractors here and there for the odd task, mainly product sourcing, but it is primarily everything has always been done by me.
And how does the site primarily make money?
Really, the vast majority is Amazon FBA. So like you mentioned earlier, we sell in the North American marketplaces, the US being the largest. Canada has been actually surprisingly large. I don't have the figure off the top of my head, but it might make up for, let's say, a fifth or a quarter of our sales in North America right now, which I'm definitely happy about. Started out a little bit slow, but it's picked up. And also sell in all of the European marketplaces. So that's a little newer for us as well. But yeah, Amazon FBA really makes up the bulk of the sales. And then we also have the Shopify site, which is, again, it's been around for about 10 months. The site has been live, but it's definitely an opportunity to bring another revenue stream online. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it makes a little bit of sales here and there. But really, Amazon FBA is the primary revenue generation.
Yeah, we'll cover the FBA versus the Shopify in a little bit, but how did you come up with the idea for this specific website? I know you had said you had the online business bug, but where did the idea for this business come from?
So, really, at the time, I was just searching for something to do online, and something that popped out at me was Amazon FBA. It was kind of in its infancy 2 years ago, or I guess there was a few people who were very successful at it, but the gold rush, it felt like had not happened yet. Ended up stumbling across a few different podcasts to listen to, like, for example, the one everyone knows, The Amazing Seller, found Jungle Scout, and really I did the pretty standard product selection process that they recommended in that, but I really took a long time with it. So I post about this in Facebook groups sometimes, and people usually are a little shocked, but I spent about 4 months selecting my first product, and that was all of my free time. And that was just coming up with ideas, narrowing them down to the niche that I eventually selected. Pretty much just filled up a whole notebook with ideas and did all the tricks that everyone normally suggests, like your daily touch list, researching things you're interested in, walking through big box stores and figuring things out. It ended up being a niche that I actually have a personal interest in, and I think that happens to a lot of people. What was great about that niche is it ended up being one that is kind of not necessarily trending, but it is trending up. Like if you check out the Google Trends for our niche, it's just always going up. There isn't a lot of seasonality. And it's also a niche that has a really big online community. So there's tons of forums and subreddits and websites dedicated to it. So that's been a real help in kind of getting the word out there, the fact that there is an online community. But anyway, settled on the niche, basically using the standard on Amazon quantitative research, as well as personal interest, and just seeing that lots of people were online talking about it.
For someone who's unfamiliar with what an Amazon FBA business is, can you take a minute and just describe exactly what that is versus a regular e-commerce business?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially it is, well, there's a few components to it. One is your main sales channel will typically be through the Amazon's marketplace where third-party sellers can sell their items. So instead of selling items directly from your website through, say, Shopify or BigCommerce or whatever on WordPress, you sell on Amazon.com and its various marketplace sites like Amazon.ca. So that's your primary sales channel. The really cool thing about Amazon FBA is the FBA part. So FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. Essentially, it is a warehousing and distribution service that they offer where you send your inventory. If you make it, you send it into them, or if you have a manufacturer, you get the manufacturer to send the goods into the Fulfillment by Amazon network. And whenever someone purchases your goods, it's just sent out automatically via Amazon. So it's really, really hands-off in terms of logistics and fulfillment. I've actually personally only ever touched a few units of my own product, despite having sold tens of thousands of units. So that's a real cool benefit of the FBA business model. You're selling physical products, but at the end of the day, it is still an online marketing business because that's your main focus. You don't have to worry about the logistics.
So just to clarify, you said that if you build the product yourself, you send it off to Amazon. And if you use a manufacturer, they just send it to Amazon. And from what you said, just want to clarify, you have a manufacturer who sends that to Amazon.
That's correct. Yeah, we have a contract manufacturer. All of our SKUs are, private labeled, so they're under our brand, and they were designed by us. So it is our unique product, but it's manufactured by someone else, not us.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any sort of patent or trademark on that specific design?
No, it's a fairly standard design. I don't want to say standard because I guess what I mean by that is there's some big players in the industry who use this design. We've improved upon it slightly, so kind of took the typical product research and niche selection approach like the Amazing Seller and Jungle Scout talk about. Just take the product, improve it somewhat based on what people are saying online, and then release your own version that's just a little bit better.
So getting into the Shopify side of it, that, for those unfamiliar, is just a regular e-commerce site, do it yourself instead of Amazon fulfilling the orders. How do you do it for this business? Do you drop ship, or do you have the manufacturer send the product to you and you send it out? How does your business do it?
So a really cool feature of Shopify, it's a really great e-commerce platform. They hook up directly to Amazon FBA. So even when someone buys a product from our website, it's still fulfilled automatically from Amazon. It's really, really cool. So everything just happens automatically. It's essentially just a different sales channel.
Mm-hmm. So no matter where they purchase it from, the product never touches your hand.
Exactly.
So for a potential buyer, someone could look at this and think, okay, well, this would not be a terribly difficult business to pick up because it's all handled online, correct?
Yep, exactly.
So how much work do you do on the business per week?
Really, I would say in an average week, it'd probably be about 8 hours. Lately, it's been a little less because I've just been sort of wrapped up in this other project that I have going, and that's actually the reason I'm selling the business. So right now, it might even be closer to 5 hours a week. You can really, really get it down to very little because there's only a few core functions that really need to happen to keep things rolling along. But that said, if you wanted to develop things and push things and really, really take the business to the next level, I mean, just like any business, sky's the limit. So, it's kind of whatever you want it to be. But to keep it going, I would say 5 hours a week.
So if it's only about 5 to 8 hours a week for you, why are you selling the business? You said you had another project you're working on?
Yeah, exactly. I do have another project I'm working on. It's in the online marketing space, but it's not a physical products business. And right now it's just a matter of what I'm passionate about. 2 years ago when I first had the idea for this FBA business, I totally had that fire and that passion, and I was so excited to get it going and try something new. And I'm still super excited about it, especially where it could go moving forward. But I don't know. Personally, as an entrepreneur, that's just how my mind works. I just get onto something else, and I'm so excited about this new project that I have going. And I think it's an even bigger opportunity for myself. So I would just really like to not split the focus and just have one thing to think about and super focus down on that.
So what's the plan for the money?
In terms of the money from the sale of this business?
Yeah, the money from the sale of this business.
Honestly, it'll just be personal use, probably, invest in some real estate or some other investments, but just kind of like save the money that I've been meaning to save for a few years and just haven't. Because luckily the new business that I'm working on is not capital intensive. It's a service business.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of the money, what was the trajectory of the business in the first few weeks or months after January of 2016 when the business was built?
It really took off. I mean, when I first started, I was hoping to maybe do like 10 sales a day of one item and bring in a few $100s here and there. It had a really strong start. Again, the launch process when I first started off was nothing really crazy. I mean, this was back in the days when you could still do incentivized reviews and giveaways on Amazon that were terms of service compliant. So just did a giveaway of about 100 units. I did get really into PPC on Amazon. So that's pay-per-click advertising, which I still do today, and we still run that. But beyond that, like I didn't have an email list. I didn't have a social following to blast it out to. It was really just that giveaway and the reviews and making sure that our sales velocity had a good start and a good basis on Amazon so that we were pretty much ranking well right away. And sales were reasonably strong right away, and they've basically just kept going up. And, as we've added SKUs and added marketplaces, that's just kind of multiplied.
You mentioned an email list. If you look on the listing site on Empire Flippers, it mentions that you have an email list, which is included in the sale, of over 700 subscribers, but they have not been sold to yet. Why is that?
Honestly, it's just something I've been kind of saving because so most of that email list has been generated either from contests that I've run or just passively from having like email collection on the website. I'd say maybe 50-50. But there have been a couple contests that we've run that really weren't anything extremely sophisticated, just maybe a giveaway here or there of a unit. So, cost us $30 or something, and promoted that on social media and here or there with personal network and got a lot of interest. But we did use a software called Gleam.io, which is a really great competition running software if you're ever doing a giveaway or something online. And what it allows you to do is, I won't get too into it, but it allows you to build kind of some virality into your giveaway, and it gets people to share it with friends. But the coolest thing is anyone who signs up for your contest has to provide their email list, and you can download that afterwards and then dump it into whatever email program you use, so like ActiveCampaign or MailChimp. And that's exactly what we did in this case. So I think we've done 2 or 3 contests now, and from that we got about like 400 email addresses. So really, really good return on that, and not only added to the email list, but saw quite large sales spikes as we were running those those competitions on social media. So that's where the list has kind of come from. But I always have wanted to put in place some kind of really sophisticated welcome sequence or drip campaign to nurture these emails and provide them with value and engage them and just increase the trust in the business. And also, of course, at certain points, give them offers and sell to them. And it's just one of those things that I haven't really gotten around to in the business in terms of having the time to do it. So really the only thing I've used the email list for to date is just letting people know when we release new products. Just I'll send out one email and just say, hey, we've released this product, check it out if you want. But they really have never been fully taken advantage of.
You mentioned that you shared the competitions and other things on social media. What social media platforms you're currently using? Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest.
That's right.
Have you had any success with that? Has it not gone well?
I think Instagram has been our strongest platform so far, probably because that's what we've put the most effort into. So right when we launched our Instagram account, we were able to generate about 2,000 followers, or just under 2,000 in about 2 months. And we did that through just really, really strong content posting and really strong engagement. So if you look at our metrics on Instagram, that's slowed down a little bit. Again, mostly because I haven't had the time to engage with our audience as much as I used to. But at least when we were really pumping on that, it sent a lot of traffic to our website, which I think translated to website sales as well as sales on Amazon, just getting the word out there. So Instagram is strong for us. I also feel like our brand is, it's somewhat of a lifestyle brand, and there's creativity and art related to it. So, Instagram is a great platform to showcase that and engage people about it and get people excited about what we do. Facebook has been a great complement. Mainly, we sort of cross-post all of our social posts across Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. We don't get as much reach or engagement on Facebook, but I think that's typical because we don't put any ad dollars behind boosting posts on Facebook. But we do get the odd comment here or there. We get the odd message and customer inquiry. So it's more of almost like a customer service portal. But I mean, we do have a few hundred followers on Facebook. So that's sort of like a strong foundation that someone could work with if they really are into organic growth on Facebook.
And has there been anything that's come out of the Pinterest?
Pinterest, I think, is super underutilized for us. So I am by no means a Pinterest guru. I know that a lot of people absolutely crown Pinterest with e-commerce. And again, I feel like our product line is an absolute perfect fit for the audience on Pinterest. It's just something that I have never really taken the time to learn how to do extremely well. So we do have an account. We have our social handle is reserved. So there's a base there to work with. But I mean, in terms of actually driving results, just never have really gotten around to it. I would say that's a strong opportunity area for the business.
Speaking of other opportunity areas, you mentioned that you've just recently, a few months ago, gotten into the European market. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How did that come to fruition?
So something interesting that happened that kind of pushed it along is, as we've grown in North America, there's only so much you can do in a certain marketplace, right? Your listings can only be so optimized and your keywords so good and PPC so good. And at that point, you've kind of maxed out, and really the only way to grow is to add SKUs. So we have continued adding SKUs to our product line, which is great. But I was also looking for other ways to kind of, up revenue and up our multiples. And Europe just seemed like a really good option. So it was something I had kind of planned for and considered. Some of the barriers in the way were just figuring out, how does FBA work in Europe with all the different countries? How does it work when you're operating in 6 different languages? And I know there's taxes that get in the way. So I think that scares off a lot of beginner sellers, but that's also a huge opportunity for anyone who decides that they're willing to get into the market because there's way less competition. So something that sort of pushed that ahead is we actually had an account representative from Amazon reach out to us. And basically, I guess they just had an internal push. They wanted to get some North American sellers who were already successful onto the European marketplace. So we kind of had like a success rep at Amazon who I'm still in touch with all the time. He's a great guy. And that's a great thing that we have to access because not everyone has that. A lot of beginner sellers, it can be a little scary because the only way that you can access Amazon or talk to someone is through seller support, which can be kind of hit or miss sometimes. So it's great to have our success rep. He helped us get through a lot of those roadblocks in terms of figuring out tax in Europe, figuring out, how to translate all of our listings and how FBA works there and fulfillment works there. So definitely a few things to figure out, but it was one of those things. It's just like you just have to sit down and do it. So we've been live in Europe for a few months now. Initial sales have been steady and basically growing month over month. And one thing I can say about Europe is I'm happy with our success so far. But again, we have done no promotional efforts whatsoever specifically targeted to the European marketplace. So that would definitely be another opportunity. And examples of that would be like doing some social media stuff that's specific to Europe, doing giveaways with influencers in Europe. That's something we've looked into, like YouTuber giveaways or Instagram giveaways, doing some focused Facebook advertising in Europe. These are all opportunities that we really haven't taken advantage of in the European marketplace yet.
Which specific countries is your product available in Europe?
So Amazon offers their, website and FBA service in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, and Germany. So we are live and available in all of those marketplaces. All of our listings have been translated into the local languages there by professional translators. So it wasn't just done with Google Translate or anything. Another cool thing that we have set up is we do have an email follow-up sequence, like a lot of sellers have set up in the US marketplace with SalesBacker or ZonMaster or another one of those services like Feedback Genius. We have that set up in the European marketplace as well, and they're all professionally translated into the local language. So when someone is in France and buys one of our products, they get a 3-email follow-up sequence requesting a review and making sure they're happy and doing all that good stuff in French. And that applies for all the different marketplaces. So that's something that I'm really proud of that we have in place.
So without doing any major advertising in the European market, where has that growth come from? Do you know if it's organic? Is it social media? Do you have that analytics?
I think the cool thing about selling on Amazon is they do a lot of the work for you. Like Amazon generates a fantastic amount of traffic. That's really the biggest reason to sell on Amazon versus your own website. When you get started with your own website, if you're not doing Amazon, you have, zero traffic, and it's up to you as the little guy to figure out, okay, am I going to do paid advertising? Am I going to do SEO? Like, how am I going to get people onto my website? And furthermore, how am I going to get people to trust my website enough to pay me and buy my stuff? On Amazon, everyone really knows about Amazon, everyone trusts it and is willing to buy from it. And there's a really, really steady stream of traffic all the time. All you need to worry about as a third-party seller is ranking. So, I don't need to go into the details of how to rank on Amazon, but in a less competitive marketplace like in Europe, it's not too hard to rank still. It's not like the US where people are, fighting tooth and nail and have all these advanced tactics. Europe is pretty cool. You can kind of just get on there, make sure your keywords are in your listing, make sure you have good images and, a few other tweaks to make sure that you're ranking well. And other than that, if you're ranking well for the keywords associated with your product, you're going to get sales because the traffic's there and people are searching.
Do you have any blog posts or any other content on the site?
Just some really, really basic content. So, we have the website right now, I would describe as an extremely good foundation for future success, but it's not a cash cow or an engine of the business right now. So the website is built on Shopify, which is, like I said, a really strong platform. The domains are set up, everything's set up, and all the pages are designed really nicely. So the content has been written for an about page, an FAQ, contact us, the homepage, and we also have a very small blog with, I believe there's 4 blog posts right now. So not a lot of content, but enough content that I would say about half of the sales we make on Shopify are from organic traffic off of Google. So we do have some rank there, but again, it's just a basis and a lot more can be done with content on the site, specifically the blog.
So that's one opportunity that a potential buyer could look at to grow the business more. And we've talked about a few other ones. Are there any more big opportunities for growth that you want to mention?
Yeah, I think the content one on the website is definitely key. So we just went over that. Another one would really be utilizing Shopify to its full potential. So right now, we're not doing anything to drive paid traffic towards the site, for example, with Facebook ads or Google Shopping ads. We only have a very basic autoresponder sequence if someone signs up to our email list. I kind of touched on that already, but I think if someone came in who, somewhat knew what they were doing and could figure out a system to create a bit of a sales funnel on Shopify, I think that it could be absolutely massive because that's totally untapped. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, if I were to continue doing this myself, what I would be doing is coming up with a few different ideas for lead magnets, which is, just like an attractive piece of content, like an ebook or a guide or something that you can offer to your subscribers. And essentially, I would be promoting that in my blog and also with paid advertising, mostly on Facebook. And then when someone opts in, well, you've just given them a valuable piece of content. Now they're on your email list, and you can really get your email marketing sequence to work. So I would be building out a really strong email sequence to, like I said, nurture those leads, get them to trust and engage with the brand, and also sell to them. So I think creating a bit of a funnel like that and utilizing content, lead magnets, and some paid advertising could really turn the Shopify site into a very, very strong piece of the business and diversify a little bit off of Amazon. So that's always a good thing too. So that's definitely a big opportunity for the business. The other one is really just continuing to add SKUs to the product line. So right now we have 4 SKUs. We have a 5th that's being sourced right now. And I'm really excited about this one because it's extremely complementary to our existing product line. And it's something that our customers, have been asking for basically since we started the business. So I think that this next product will be very successful right off the bat. And even though you can't do giveaways with incentivized reviews on Amazon anymore, we are now in the position where we have a reasonably strong social media following. We have a good sized email list. So I think those things off of Amazon will help our launch on Amazon for this SKU. And also, it's just something that makes a lot of sense for people to buy from us. We're definitely getting to the point where our brand name is known in the niche or in the community of people that follow the kinds of things that we sell. So I feel like the business is at a bit of a tipping point where if we put things out that people are asking for, they'll do well. One other cool thing to say about this SKU is it has been really, really hard to source, but we're almost there. And I think that'll be a pretty good barrier of entry for anyone looking to, any one of our competitors, if they wanted to copy us. It would take them quite a bit of effort to copy this product, like I said, because it's pretty difficult to put together and source. So I think that 5th SKU is a big opportunity as well. Also, there's a pretty logical product line that could be followed with this business that includes, I have 10 SKUs that I've already thought of that I think would be fantastic, just only gotten barely halfway there. So I think adding SKUs would be a big opportunity.
So if you have all of these SKUs that you've thought of, why haven't you implemented them already?
Honestly, it's just been the time thing. I would say, and this sounds kind of funny, but I would say I am the biggest bottleneck in the business, just me personally. I've had this other project that I've been working on for the last 6 months that's taken up a lot of my time and focus. Also, the whole time that I've been working on this, I have also done between 20 and 40 hours of regular work at a day job. I don't do that anymore. I've moved to more of a consulting position that's part-time, which has helped in the last few months. But yeah, it's really just been a time constraint for me. So to be honest, I would be pretty excited to see someone take over this business who had a little more time to really take it in the direction that I think it needs to go, because there's tons of opportunities.
Sounds like there are plenty of opportunities, but are there any big risks that are associated with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Yeah, I think the biggest one, it's not necessarily unique to this business, but just Amazon FBA in general. Anytime you're selling on Amazon, you're going to have people copying your products and, trying to copy your listing. Or this has been really minimized lately with changes that Amazon has made, but you used to be able to people could hijack your listing, which means they would kind of like say that they're selling the same thing you're selling and they're actually not. So basically what I'm trying to say is when a lot of your revenue comes from someone else's platform and it comes from one place, of course there's going to be a risk there. So that's one reason why I think it would be a really great idea to get Shopify going as more of a strong revenue generator, because it would reduce the risk or mitigate the risk in the business by having a different revenue stream. So that would be the biggest one, I would say, just being so focused on Amazon. But we're already moving in the direction away from that. So kind of started mitigating it anyway.
So that's the risk you see, and you've already taken steps to prevent that in the future as a risk. And I'm sure any potential buyers will keep that going in that direction. Evan, you said earlier that it's about 5 to 8 hours of work a week for you to keep the business going. What exactly are you doing in those 5 to 8 hours?
So some of the core tasks are posting to social media and ideally engaging with the social media audience as much as possible. Although, like I said, I'm not doing as good a job of that recently. We are, like I mentioned, running PPC advertising on Amazon. So every day spending dollars on there. And that's something that I have to watch from time to time. So I do like usually a weekly 30 to 40-minute look over our PPC and just make sure everything's looking good, do some tuning, do some keyword adjustments, bid adjustments. It's honestly nothing crazy, but it's worth watching because you're spending money on it. This isn't every week, but periodically throughout the year, you do need to reorder inventory. And obviously, you always want to keep an eye on your inventory. And that takes a little bit of time as well to just sit down, have a look at what your sales have been, what you project them to be in the future, and figure out all your lead times and everything. So you kind of touched on this earlier. We do have a inventory management spreadsheet and planning tool that is part of the files that come with the business. So that helps with that a little bit. But that's definitely a task that you'll need to look at every couple months anyway. Again, sourcing new SKUs takes time for sure. Right now, we work with a sourcing agent overseas, so that has made things a lot easier than basically going the route of doing the research ourselves. But, still takes time to figure things out. And of course, customer service. So, that's like a daily, if not every couple of days things. You do get messages that you need to handle.
Can you give a little bit of information on that inventory replenishment spreadsheet that you were talking about?
Yeah, basically, it's just a tool. And I think a lot of FBA sellers have put these together in some form or another. Some are very rudimentary, some are very complex. I feel like ours strikes a pretty good balance. Basically, it's just a spreadsheet where you can put in your previous few months' sales, and it kind of spits out a forecast for you based on the SKUs that we have and the marketplaces that we have, and it helps you decide, number one, the amounts to order, and also which marketplaces that ordered inventory should be allocated to. Because, if you're selling 4 SKUs in 3 different marketplaces, that's a little bit to have a look at. It's not like you're just selling 1 SKU in one marketplace. So there are a few numbers to look at, but luckily the spreadsheet just, it's all color-coded, breaks it down. It makes it pretty easy to interpret once you put the numbers in.
And as we said earlier, that'll be included with the sale. And would you be willing to walk through, just how to keep track of all of that with the spreadsheet with a buyer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Evan, we are pushing our time here, almost time to let you go. Before I do that, I got a couple last minute questions, and then we'll go over the summary of the business again. But just real quick, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes, absolutely.
And how much support are you willing to offer buyers? So what I mean by that is, would you do email support for 30 days, 60 days, or Skype calls or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't want to contradict what we put on the listing. So I know the listing is correct, but I'm pretty sure what I said is I would offer email support for 60 days, so 2 months, and up to, I believe, 3 Skype calls. But that said, to be honest, whoever buys the business, I would be more than happy to help them out with whatever questions they have. I'm really not sticky about that. There's always going to be questions that come up when you're taking over something like a business, and I would be pretty easy going about it. Not too many rules there, within reason.
Awesome. And obviously the best case scenario is that someone comes along and we get 100% cash offer of what you're looking for here. But if that didn't happen, would you be open to an earnout?
Not in this case. So it would need to be a cash offer.
Okay. Well, I have one more question for you. But before we get to that, I just want to go over a quick summary of the business again. It was built in January 2016, has a monthly revenue of $20,419. Expenses of $14,204, which makes for a net profit of $6,215, and this is built on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the Amazon Seller Central accounts, and this includes the North American and European accounts, domains, Shopify website, Google Analytics account, email-related software and accounts, social media accounts, a well-organized library of business files, the inventory replenishment spreadsheet, SOPs, product sourcing info, learning resources and guides, product photography, and email templates. Evan, what is your best 30-second pitch on why someone should purchase this business?
I would say it's that FBA is a great business to be in because it can really scale with your lifestyle. So if you want it to be super simple and easy, it can, and it can just keep spitting out $6,000 a month for you in profit. If you want to grow it into $1 million business, there's no reason you couldn't do that within a year or two. because of all the opportunities that we talked about.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Jake.
If you're watching this on YouTube and want more info, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing site and want more information, become a depositor today. All you have to do is click the button, Make a Refundable Deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.